Welcome into the rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400 around the world on the iHeartRadio app. My name is Rob Sanders, and we have made it, ladies and gentlemen. As I open up my Coca-Cola, I'm not drinking beer on the job. I might drink beer later. Who doesn't drink beer? Come on. Anyway, as we get set up for the weekend. Yeah, get excited. You've got a full slate of college football this weekend, and you've also got, it's Halloween. If you're into Halloween, you know what I'm talking about. Halloween's like one of the coolest holidays of the year. So we've got a lot to get to today. We've got to talk a little bit about our weekend picks. We've got to talk about the Atlanta Braves, America's team, playing tonight. Now, there may be some rain tonight, ladies and gentlemen. If there is rain, they'll bump it back a day, but we shall see how that goes for the World Series. Remember, we are I try to be objective for the most part when I'm in here. My fandom doesn't really get into my picks on anything, but I am 1,000,000% behind the Atlanta Braves. If you can be that far out there. The Houston Astros are a cheating franchise. I will never forgive them for what they did a while back. Altuve, of course, benefited from that and still gets to play. It's an absolute shame that franchise, they should have been sold. Seriously. It's an absolute mess. So I am 100% behind the Atlanta Braves. Don't expect me to be objective. It's not going to happen. Don't call up and tell me I'm a Houston fan. I may hang up on you. It's the World Series. You can, and it's nothing against like the city of Houston. Let's make sure we put that out there. It's just the franchise, especially Altuve. Altuve kills me. You know, and I bet this too. The series might get a little different in Atlanta because I think it's level in Atlanta. Remember the Chicago White Sox relief pitcher that kind of called them out again and said, it's amazing how they do so well at home. It's pretty much what it is. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832 is the number to call. Biscuit says he agrees, and Pete Rose can't get into the Hall of Fame. Exactly. But, of course, they bring out Altuve, and, you know, oh, he's an all-star, and he's a 5'8" dynamo, and look at him. He's so great. Yeah, he's a cheater. He's an absolute cheater. Frank online asks if I'm getting an apartment with my buddy Carolina Jackpot. No, Frank. No, Frank. Not happening. Frank says, F the Braves, go Cubs. Well, the Cubs can't make the playoffs, so they could sit at home and watch the Braves. That's what the Cubs can do. Steve Spurrier talked a little bit today about what's wrong with Florida. Actually, it was yesterday on the Feinbaum show when he was asked by that lovely little troll Feinbaum why Florida has struggled since the Alabama game. Spurrier broke it down really easily. Oh, we can't tackle very well. Really? Good point there, Steve. Good point. I like the fact that Coach Spurrier's honest. Very cool stuff there. Of course, we'll take your calls this afternoon on a bevy of things. 803-978-1832. The show dipped into something that was almost political yesterday, and I kind of wanted to address it for a minute. We had a caller that talked about how he felt that LSU was going to hire a minority candidate simply because they were a minority candidate. I don't like doing politics and issues on the show, but I didn't really get an opportunity to put out there how I feel about it. I kind of did, but make sure that people know exactly where I stand on that. I think that if it comes out that LSU does that, that's absolutely stupid. I'm talking like stupid to the 80th level. I'm not saying that there aren't candidates that are minorities that are not qualified. I'm just saying that if the only reason that they hire them is because they're a minority, that's just silly. Silly. Give it to the candidate who earns the job. So let's make sure we put that out there. And in big time athletics, green is the way to go. Green's the only color that matters. Want to make sure people understand that and where I'm coming from with that. I listened back to some of the podcasts yesterday, and I was like, I really put how I felt. Everybody else got a chance, but I didn't really put myself out there on that. I honestly believe it comes down to who can get the most wins, who can be the best ambassador. It's down to winning too. You can be an idiot, a jerk. As long as you're not breaking laws and you're winning games, that's all that matters. You can be a complete, a jerk to everyone and still get jobs. As long as you're winning. Winning's the important part. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832 is the number to call. If you'd like to get us back, if you'd like to get on the rundown this afternoon, I will answer this question from Biscuit. He is a contributor to the program. We might give Biscuit a producer title because he does give us some good things to talk about. Yes, what are my thoughts on the best playoff format? Look, I like the idea of having I like the 4-team playoff, okay? If we stayed with that, I would be okay with it. But the reality is that I come back to it, and if we're going to expand, I don't want it going any higher than 8, okay? Because after 8, you got a lot of silly. I think 8 gives you a really good opportunity to have the 8 best teams. I mean, think about it. When you look past 8, what are you going to have? You're going to have a lot of teams that have a lot of flaws. Now, I'm also in the ring of, if you're going to expand the first round of the playoffs, in fact, I could even venture to say the first 2 rounds of the playoffs need to be on-campus sites. On-campus sites. The idea of let's have them all and we have to save the bowl system. That is stupid. It makes me physically mad. I want to break things when we have to save the bowl system. You know what the bowl system is? You have all these bowl games throughout the year. I can't even name all the bowls. I can't even name them all. Okay? But here's the thing. There are, you watch these games on TV. Now I'm talking pre-COVID. You're going to have probably what? A good percentage of the fan base that's there, or a good percentage of the people that are in attendance, aren't even fans of the game. When you have a team like Clemson's projected to go to the Tony the Tiger Bowl or something like that out in Tempe, that's one of the projections. I promise you, Clemson will travel, okay? I'm not saying that the Clemson fan base is sad and they won't go. I can remember Clemson going up to Boise State and playing up there in Idaho at the Humanitarian Bowl. I'm using Clemson as an example. Other teams will travel too, but they're not going to carry and fill half that stadium. They're not. The stadiums are generally half empty. If you have 50,000 people there, you'll have maybe 15 from one school, 15 from another, and then 20,000 of them are corporate tickets, where they basically give them away and people just show up. Hey, they're playing a football game today. Let's have some of those. That's what the bowl game system is now. And I know that certain bowls do a lot of great stuff. I've interviewed the folks from the Orange Bowl. They do a ton of things in the community. There are scholarships and all kinds of stuff that they put out there, and I'm not knocking that. Not knocking that at all. But the reality is that with the college football playoff, you could still have your bowl games. You can keep those. And you know what? People will still watch those. But in the end, when it comes to the college football playoff, have the first 2 rounds at home. Then you can put the last matchup at a neutral site. I don't really have a problem with that. Okay? I get that. That way it's sort of like you bring the best of both worlds together, in my opinion, on that front. You have the capability of making college football more of a global type thing, making it where it's important everywhere, and putting it at a big site, putting it at an NFL site. Why not do that? I think that's good for the championship. But for everything else, you're just being silly. Let's go out to the phones, 803-978-1832. Work the phones. Welcome into the rundown. Oh, let me turn it up. Hey, what's up?
The Southern Miss fan, man. I wanted to get your thoughts on Southern Miss, Marshall, James Madison, and all the gang joining the Sun Belt, man. What do you think?
The Sun Belt is my favorite G5 conference right now. So adding Marshall to the mix, I think, is great. And by the way, former coach Ellis Johnson was on this morning with Teddy Hefner. That's some of the best radio you can listen to. Is I know he didn't do well there at Southern Miss, but Coach Johnson is a heck of a coach. One of the best defensive coordinators that was here at South Carolina. Absolutely great coach. I enjoy listening to that. But having all those teams in the Sun Belt is great. It's going to make the Sun Belt, they call it the Fun Belt now. It's going to be even better. None of them are worthy of being a national champion, but it's going to be a fun conference.
Yes, indeed. A lot of like geographically close rivals that we're going to have. You bring up Ellis Johnson, man. We call him E-Loss around here. 0-12 season at Southern Miss, and the very next season, he goes to Auburn and wins the national title?
I think he was defensive coordinator. I don't know if he was a defensive coordinator in one. I don't remember all that. I remember that he left here and went there. So,
yeah, man. But I definitely, I watch your show all the time. You and Jackpot, and I had to call in and get the thoughts on the doggone Golden Eagles, baby.
Hey, that works out well for you guys, man. Going to the Sun Belt, man. Y'all can have some Sun Belt titles. That'll be kind of cool.
Hey, put it this way, man. We still suck no matter where we go. We got to win ball games, man. And being 1-9 with a brand new head coach, it ain't looking good. And we got 10 guys that are in the transfer portal leaving. So one day, I ain't gonna keep y'all on this Southern Miss rant for too long, but one day, Southern Miss will be back to the doggone top. Thank you, brother. You always taking my call.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you. It's not kind of hard for me to get jacked up for Southern Miss football, but hey, they've got their fans, and we welcome everyone here to the program. You can call and tell me how great your school is. I'll give you a minute or two to do that. I don't have a problem with it. Look, I live here in Columbia, right? Columbia, South Carolina, and I have people tell me, Rob, you have all these other folks that call your show. Why don't you take more Gamecock calls? I'm like, I'll take all the Gamecock calls you want. Maybe it's because they listen to a lot of radio around town where they have this whole set of, it's like Gamecock apology is what it boils down to. We're honest here with you about the Gamecocks. I do the fifth quarter post-game show where we talk about nothing but the Gamecocks. It's the most honest show on the radio every Saturday after the Gamecocks play. So it's not an issue of me being anti-Gamecock. It's just, I don't know. Maybe they just want to hear all of the good sweet nothings of, remember when Connor Shaw was here and he was awesome? Remember that? Yeah, that's pretty much what it boils down to. That's great, but let's talk about now. I think some Gamecock fans get upset by that, and we're welcoming to everyone. Let's go out to the phones. Welcome into the program. Good afternoon.
Hey, Rob, this is Scott from Hartsville calling you from God's country here in Clemson.
What do you got for the program today, Scott?
Man, me and my wife had an argument. Got to get
you know what? I am at the point now where I don't want to be your marriage counselor, but man, you've been making that wife mad a couple weeks in a row.
Well, yeah, she got mad because I'm a big Panther fan and I want to get rid of Christian McCaffrey. I think get rid of him now while you can get something for him.
I completely agree with you. Like a former Clemson Sports Talk intern, Lowell, who used to do radio with us, we were tweeting back and forth about a couple weeks ago where I was like, McCaffrey's hurt again. It's sad. When he gets on the field, he's great, but he's missed 19 of the 26 games that Matt Rule's been the coach up there or something like that. Some ridiculous number.
Lot.
Here's the thought.
Would you
trade him? Yeah, I'd trade him right now. I would trade
him straight up for
right
the
now.
Dolphins quarterback that they don't want. They do not want Tua.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what Tua brings to the table.
He brings more than what we got.
Well, I think everybody, Sam Darnold's not even 25 years old yet.
And he stinks.
Well, I don't know. He's had his moments. I think you got to give him this season and then go from there. See if
But
there's
I
something
mean,
there.
just look at the season. Get something, for Christian McCaffrey while you can.
Yeah. He's not bringing you anything sitting on the bench right now. Let him come out, have a great game, and then somebody will take him. The Bears will take him. They're a dumb franchise. The Bears have been stupid forever. They'll take him and think they've got this wonderful thing. Seriously, somebody will take him. Probably the Bears.
Do you think that Deshaun's going to get traded by the deadline, or
probably not? Because I don't know what we don't know what his legal situation is. And if I'm not going to go and give up, a first round pick for somebody that may be in trouble.
Yeah, and then they're talking about what two or three first round picks.
Yeah,
that they want for him.
I mean, he's look. Make sure I put that out there. He's worth the 2 first round picks. Okay, he is a franchise quarterback. All right, when he's on the field, he's one of the top 7 or 8 in the league. But he had some issues, and if you read the stuff that he was sending out on Instagram, I'm not saying that he did everything that they say that he did, but there was something going on there, and I don't know what it was, but it's between him and the women that were involved, and the way that he has to do that is open up his wallet. If he wants to play football again, he needs to pay people.
Got to pay.
And make them sign an NDA, have them drop the charges, and then go about your merry way.
And move forward.
Take the slap on the wrist the commissioner's going to give you, because that's what it'll be, because he doesn't really have anything. Then drop the charges. Okay, we're going to suspend you 3 games because it didn't really make the NFL look good. You take those 3 games off, and then a year from now, you're back on the Wheaties boxes.
Yeah, I think he could, is a person that can get his reputation back pretty quick, especially if he wins. Go somewhere and win.
I've read books and stuff about Michael Jordan, right? And Michael Jordan was, in these books, they talked about, like, Jordan would go to a club and he would have, if he wanted female companionship, he would have one of his guys that were with him, and they would go over and talk to whatever woman it is that Michael Jordan wanted, and Michael Jordan they would work out something with that woman and then go from there. Deshaun Watson makes enough money, he can do that. That's just the way that I hate to be that way, but that's the way that it is.
I wish somebody come have a talk with my wife.
Oh, God.
Try to get me off the couch,
You got to handle that on your own.
Oh man, I got 3 daughters too. I'm outnumbered here.
Well, I've got 2 daughters, and they run everything. So you're right about that.
And they run the house. Well, thank you, man. I'm going to be there pulling for the Tigers tomorrow. I think DJ's going to have a good game.
I hope so, man. You have a great day.
All right, you too, man.
There you go. Let's go back out to the phones. Welcome into the rundown. Good afternoon,
Rob. Did I just hear you say you've read books?
Yes. I know that with your Georgia education, you don't know what that means, but yes, I've read books.
Huh. Well, you learn something new every day. I wouldn't have thought that.
Yep.
Hey, I am coming over the Matthews Bridge here in Jacksonville, man. It's kind of a gray, somber looking day down here, which is appropriate if you're a Gator fan, I think. I've got my bulletproof vest on, so I stand at the tire here.
I honestly thought that to go into Jacksonville, and like I understand that the tradition is to play this game in Jacksonville, and that's important, and I understand that. But Jacksonville's kind of rough, man. I thought it was like bulletproof vests and hazmat suits and everything to go anywhere.
Yeah, honestly, all kidding aside, that's going to play a role in Jacksonville losing this game. For years and years and years, everyone hung out at the Landing, which is right on the river, just a little ways away from the stadium there. And it got so rough, they demolished the entire Landing, just shooting after shooting. And I think it's going to eventually play a role in Jacksonville losing that game. But it's sad. And it's gotten so, particularly after the game, when you leave that stadium and it's dark, some funky things go on, man, and it does get spooky. But
you know what? I'm going to put out a plan for that. They should split it. Orlando 1 year, Atlanta the next. Just go back and forth between the two. That's what they should do.
Yeah. Well, I don't know that it'll matter. We're going to dominate it for the next 50 years, wherever it is. You could play it on Mars. We're going to beat the crap out of the Gators. But
50 years.
What do you think about the spread? Do you feel like that's kind of an accurate point spread for this game or no?
Well, I told you yesterday when we talked that I think that Georgia wins 30-10. So I think 14 is what I read it at earlier. Is it moved from 14?
It's like 14.5, if I'm not mistaken. It was that earlier. So.
I think Georgia wins by 20. So I think the spread's a little off, but that's just me.
Yeah, I think you're right. I was foolish earlier in the week, but I've been getting more bullish on the dogs as the week's gone by.
I think that's I honestly think that's the safest bet of the weekend. Out of all the games that I'm going to pick today, that is the one that I feel the most secure about, because I think Florida is a dumpster fire. I really believe that they may win just 6 games this season if you look at their schedule. So
now, let me ask you this: Dan Mullen, top 25 coach?
Nope, not in my top 25.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Hey, 43-18, Rob.
Have a great weekend, sir. We'll talk to you later on. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have more for you here on The Rundown. This is Fox Sports Radio 1400. Biscuit, if you want a list, we can make one for you. Just find 25 coaches that are not Dan Mullen or Kirby Smart. There you go. There's your list. There's a couple high school coaches. I just don't like the 2 of them right now. Yeah, Mark Stoops would probably be there because I think he can build a program. Of course you do, SEC dog. Someone asked why I don't wear a Clemson hat. I don't know. I have like a couple of Clemson hats. I just don't wear them. I wear I've got like 7 or 8 of these hats for. I'm taking my kids to all the parks in our state, right? There's like 42 parks. And I buy a hat at each one of those parks we go to, and that's what I wear. I wear those hats, and then I've got a couple of Braves hats. I got a couple of station hats, a couple of iHeart hats. So (803-978-1832), 803-978-1832. That is the number to call if you'd like to join us here on The Rundown this afternoon, here on Fox Sports Radio 1400, around the world on the iHeartRadio app. I wanted to do a quick look at, if you look at some of the stuff that's out there for the Heisman Trophy, like if you look at Heisman Trophy hopefuls, it's kind of sad. You know, we've talked a little bit about how the Heisman Trophy generally goes to the best quarterback or the best running back. It never really goes. They never really look on the defensive side of the ball. So the whole Heisman Trophy, it says that, you know, they're trying to find the most outstanding player in college football. And that's basically a lie. Just saying. if they were really trying to do that, they'd look to the defensive side of the ball. And the best player on defense is Georgia's Jordan Davis. And he should have the opportunity to go to New York. Now, I don't want him going up there. If I'm a voter, I don't want him going up there if it's just like a token thing. Yeah, we're going to bring you up here because, we want idiots like Rob Sanders to shut the hell up about the trust and how the fact our trust is a lie. Look, if you go and you watch a game, okay, Jordan Davis controls games. You have to game plan for him, regardless. He impacts every game he plays. Now, he's not out there throwing touchdown passes, running the ball, and all of that. I get that. But the idea that he can't control a game and dictate how a game goes, not controlling, it's dictating. It's pretty much what he can do. It's silly. And that's why I have the whole, I don't really care about the whole Heisman thing. If you pull up a Heisman hopeful list, just Google it. You'll get your standard list of, this quarterback and that quarterback and this running back and everything else. And I've talked about this before. Since Ndamukong Suh didn't win the Heisman his senior year when he was at Nebraska, and they literally had, the only way to stop him was 3 guys, and he still got sacks. That's when I was done with the Heisman. Let's go out to the phones. Welcome into the rundown. Good afternoon.
Hey, Rob, this is the Biscuit.
What's up, man? How are you?
Touching on the Heisman thing.
Yes.
I have a sort of an idea on that, an opinion. I'm totally disinterested in the Heisman because – I'm sorry?
No, go ahead. I'm listening. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking. Because it's become a running back quarterback award. Why don't they take all the award winners from each position group, the Outland, all that stuff, and send each winner of that to New York and determine those maybe a week before so people can mull on it and then determine from that grouping who wins the Heisman.
I can get into that. I think the other end of it too is that the Heisman, if you're a Heisman winner, you get a vote, right? I think that needs to go away because you got a bunch of quarterbacks and running backs voting. They're going to vote for quarterbacks and running backs. So wipe the slate clean with that.
At their school.
Exactly. Very, very good point. And that's flawed. If you are trying to get the best college football player, the line in the trust, the most outstanding college football player, you can't have that because it's basically biased in the back with that. So you're absolutely right on that.
No, but maybe sending one from each position grouping, at least it's making people really look at those because it's really hard to analyze every offensive lineman in the country, isn't it? You really don't. There's no real statistics that you can grade them on. Blocking grade isn't flashy enough.
Right.
But if you break it down to where in each position group you can look at that individual player that week prior to voting, then it kind of gets into your head about how good those individual players are. In other words, you can't look at every left tackle in the country, but you might be able to look at one.
The other end is defensive backs, because if a defensive back is really good, South Carolina had Stephon Gilmore here, they just won't throw to his side of the field. And that's right. I mean, that still makes him that makes him great, but you can game plan away from him. So yeah, I mean, it's they either need to change the way the trust is set up, or or just admit what it is. You just like the best quarterback or best running back. That's what it is. It's just sad.
Yeah, it would be much more interesting if they did it the other way. I think I would love to start seeing I'd love to start seeing a killer, an Orlando Pace level left tackle win the Heisman. That would be cool.
Well, and if I remember correctly, my buddy Kevin McCreary used to vote in it, and you have to have like your vote in by like week 10 or something like that. So it's not even the full season, which is silly. And
I didn't even know that.
I think a lot of it has to do with they had the old system where you had to mail it in and all that and give it time to get there. It's not like that anymore. You can literally give everybody a code to go to a website and they can vote that way. Make it ultra secure, and then that's it. I don't get the whole thing of, it's got to be in by week 10 or something, because you could do a heck of a lot in 2 games to help your case.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Certainly. The other thing I'd like to touch on is you're talking about the playoff system briefly. You and I are mostly in agreement. I don't want to see it expand past 8.
It gets too watered down. Too watered down.
But I've heard some crazy proposals on some of the shows that I've been listening to, and there are people that are saying, a 12-team playoff with 10 auto bids from the group of 5 and power of 5. I'm going to tell you right now, that has 0% chance of ever happening. 0, because there's no way that the SEC or the Big Ten representative would walk into a meeting and then agree to be equal footing in the playoff with the Mountain West and the MAC. And because that would instantly lose their conference money and credibility, and they'd be fired the next day. So there's no way that playoff plan would ever happen.
Well, my thing is that I like the idea of, if you're going to have, I want the best 8, but if we're going to go with the Power 5 champions, I'm fine with that. And then the other 3 spots, if you want to give one to a group of 5 opponent, that's fine. But the other 2 can go to, I think after that, generally you've pretty much got the best 8 in theory. Now, where things are going to get screwy is when you have a 7-4, let's use Pitt for an example. Let's say a 7-4 Pitt team in a normal year wins over an 11-1 Florida State team. You see what I'm saying? You don't want a 4-loss team in the playoffs. So that kind of throws a hole into that. But
I am not for conference auto bids for conferences. For simply that, to me, conference championships, I understand people's need to include conference championships because it's meaningful. We're a hierarchical type society in terms of our mindset, right? We want everything to fit together nicely. But in this case, this sport is completely different from other sports. Everybody keeps trying to take pieces from other sports, put them together, and think the puzzle pieces fit, and they don't.
Right.
We have too many teams and too many variables across conferences, even within the Power 5. So that's why I'm not for the auto bids for conference champions.
Yeah, and you make a great argument for that. But my thing with that though is that if I'm a coach, then why do I have any incentive to have these conference championships? I mean,
and they might go away.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, why would I do that? Why can't I just, as a conference, just declare, we can all come together and declare who we think is our champion? That's our champion. Why have all these conference championships if in the end it doesn't really help my conference get a playoff berth? So
no, because to me again, a conference championship is just another data point. It's the 13th data point. Just because they assign a ribbon to one game doesn't mean it means more to a player. If Georgia plays Alabama in October, that game means as much to them as it does in for the championship game because it's the same thing. They're going to play as hard. Just because a ribbon's assigned to it doesn't mean anything to me. It just means it's another tough game.
Yeah,
I'm totally. I can understand the people that are proponents of the qualification. But you see, like even with the ACC this year. I mean, let's say Georgia and Alabama had ended up playing in the SEC title game, undefeated, both of them, and one loses by a field goal. You're going to tell me the loser of that game is going to lose a spot because Wake Forest won the ACC? I mean, that's ridiculous.
Well, if you're and I get that, but I also think that I like the idea of, hey, you need to win your conference to win the national title. I think that's important too. So I mean, I guess I'm wanting to have my cake and eat it too. So
I don't. I think all you're doing is you're saying because you're in a geographic region in a group that means something more.
Okay, well really, then Notre Dame's smarter than all of us. Then Notre Dame's smarter than all of us. They're like, to hell with that conference stuff. We'll just schedule games and we'll go 12-0 and that's what we'll have. So maybe Notre Dame's got it right.
You know, it'd be hilarious is if the conferences got together and refused to schedule them anymore.
And by the way, the ACC kind of had them by the satchel last season. They could have said, hey, either you join the league or nothing, because Notre Dame wouldn't have been able to schedule anybody. think about it.
I'm mad
the
at the
SEC
ACC for the
wasn't.
reason of the decision that they made.
Yeah, they
They
shouldn't have done that. They shouldn't have done that. They
But
should
they
have
look
said,
like
"Look, if
they look like Notre Dame. It looks like Notre Dame has the nuts. You're
exactly."
basically telling them they can live with you for a year and then go off back on your own. And please join us in the future, and we'll play you more. I mean, come on.
It's the whole milk for free thing with buying a cow. I mean, that's exactly what it is. All right, Biscuit. Hey, man, I got to take a break, buddy, but I appreciate it.
Bye.
All right, thanks a lot. More on the rundown in just a moment. This is Fox Sports Radio 1400. I don't like I don't like the adage of like if you can't win your division, I don't think you should be in the playoff. But maybe I'm just hung up on that. I'm kind of silly on that front. The way that you figure out the best teams is the tough part because you're going to have people that you're going to have schools that won't schedule other schools. Come down to that too. That's definitely out there. Welcome back to the rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400 around the world on the iHeartRadio app. I figured he would be calling today. Mr. Hollywood's on the phone. Greetings, sir. How are you?
Hey, Rob, let me ask you something. You ever been to Jacksonville?
I went once, and I didn't want to go back.
Well, that's probably, because you didn't know where to go. And I heard Megan. Let me tell you something. They are not going to move that game out of Jacksonville.
Well, they should for fan safety,
Why?
man. If people are getting shot after the game.
Oh, come on. It's all over the country. It's in Columbia, South Carolina. It's all over the place.
We have not had one shooting at a Williams-Brice Stadium game this year.
Listen. You talking about a little Matchbox City. It's Columbia, South Carolina.
Okay, well then move it to
that game.
Well, I'd rather than do back and forth. Go to Athens one year and
listen. Have you ever been to the Florida-Georgia game?
No, I don't want to go to that game.
Okay, see, there you go. You can bring your boat. You can party on the river. It is so much going on down here. It's not going to move that game. Besides, let's get to the point of the game. You know, remember Buster Douglas?
Yeah.
Remember Mike Tyson?
Yeah.
Nobody gave Mike Tyson. Buster Douglas a shot. But guess what? Down goes Tyson. Down goes the dogs. Down goes the dogs. They're gonna lose, buddy.
Are you comparing yourself to Buster Douglas? You are the Buster Douglas of the argument?
I'm comparing the Georgia Bulldogs to Mike Tyson, and Buster Douglas is gonna come in and gonna knock them down.
Okay, so all right. But you're basically saying you're the Buster Douglas in the matchup, right?
No. Right now, I'm coming across the Matthews Bridge,
Okay.
I must be a little behind begging Megan. I'm coming across the Matthews Bridge, rolling into the stadium, going down River City, and chill out. Got some buddies waiting on me, and I'm going down there and chill out and have a
Wow.
great time. There's just so much going on down here. You must be jealous. You can't be to this game.
Do you have a bulletproof vest, sir? We want to make sure you're able
I
to
don't need a
call on
bulletproof
Monday.
vest. I don't need a bulletproof vest. I'll be back to Columbia around Tuesday.
All right, fair enough, man. Appreciate you calling the program.
Uh-huh.
All right, there you go. Hollywood comparing his team to Buster Douglas and Georgia to Mike Tyson. Yeah, what a mess. Yeah, it's not what you want. I mean, remember Mike Tyson had gonorrhea. People seem to forget that. Yeah, there's that. Quick call here. One more time. Welcome into the rundown. Good afternoon.
Hello. My name is Eric Johnson, and I'm reporting live from the University of Georgia. I just wanted to give my comments on that last caller that was on the panel with you.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was on bath salts or was he smoking something, but to think that this University of Florida team is going to beat my Georgia Bulldogs tomorrow, he must have been smoking something. Like, if you look at Emory Jones, he's going to be running around like a chicken with his head cut off. The Richardson kid, AR-15, where they call him down there in the swamp with the baby crocodiles, he has no chance in hell of running past my brother, Jordan Davis, who should be up for, the Heisman this year because, a lot of defensive players don't get a lot of love. But that's all I have to say. Final score, Georgia 42, the University of Dan Mullins 7. Thank you for having me on, sir.
All right, man. Hey, thank you for calling the show, man. We appreciate it. More of the rundown when we come back. This is Fox Sports Radio 1400. Be right back, guys. Welcome back to the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400. I brought in my celebrity guest picker, one of my best friends on the planet, the best DJ in the absolute world, Mr. Gary Mills. Gary, what's up, brother?
Man, thank you for that. Just ready to make some picks. Let's get it done. Let's go. Let's rock.
I hate you for the Cowboys hat, but we're gonna let you pick. We're gonna let you pick games today with me. All right?
Okay, cool.
All right,
Cowboys gonna win, by the way.
Michigan State.
Michigan.
Well, give me I got to give you the line. Hold on.
Doesn't matter.
Michigan is a 2-point favorite. You like Michigan a lot.
like them a
I'm
lot.
going to roll with Michigan too.
Cool.
So there you go with that. We've got Miami and Pitt. Pitt with the great quarterback, Kenny Pickett, who's probably going to win the Heisman Trophy. He's definitely in the running.
Yep.
Miami's coach is coaching for his life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which way you rolling there?
Miami, because he's coaching for his life.
Okay.
I'm taking the Canes.
Yeah, I think 10 points is a good bit, but I'll take Miami with the points. Minnesota, Northwestern. Minnesota's a 4-point favorite.
Minnesota.
Yeah, give me Minnesota. I like them as well.
Yeah.
Also, Virginia Tech and Georgia Tech. That's a pick 'em.
I'm taking Tech. Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech.
Ramblin' Wreck, baby.
I'm going with Virginia Tech. I don't think Georgia Tech's that good. Florida State and Clemson. Clemson is a 10-point favorite in that matchup. Which way you rolling there?
10 points in Clemson. Oh, I hate to do it. Florida State.
Yeah, I'm going to roll with Florida State too until Clemson can actually score some points.
Yep.
Let's see here. Oregon State and California. Oregon State is a 2-point favorite.
Give me Oregon State. Yeah, I'll
take Oregon State too. And then we've got, let's see here. Oh, of course.
Cocktail party.
Yeah, the cocktail party with Georgia and Florida. I've already said I think Georgia's winning 30-10. Georgia's a 14-point favorite. Which way you going, Gary?
Georgia is going to roll the Gators. Roll them.
I think it's going to be not close. I'm with you. Ole Miss and Auburn. Auburn's a 1-point favorite.
Oh, man. Okay. That Ole Miss quarterback is the truth. I'm going to Ole Miss in this one.
Yeah, I kind of like him. I think that's probably a safe bet, but I think I'm going to roll with Auburn there.
Okay.
So, and final matchup, North Carolina and Notre Dame. North Carolina is a 4-point favorite.
North Carolina's a favorite of a Notre Dame.
Sorry, Notre Dame's a 4-point favorite.
I was going to say, yeah.
There, yeah.
Well, I hate Notre Dame. I don't like North Carolina, so I guess I'm going to take the team I hate. That's Notre Dame.
I'm going to go a push.
Kills me.
I went out to pick either one of them.
Kills me, man.
There you go with that. Yeah, that's how that works. All right. Well, Gary, of course, we've got the Atlanta Braves tonight, America's team.
Chop on, baby. Chop on.
Yeah.
Chop on.
I hate to put your age out there, but you're old enough to remember Chief Nakahoma.
Oh, yeah, man. And you remember
the actual teepee that was at the stadium.
There is actually a Mrs. Nakahoma, too. You remember that? You don't know? There was a Chief Nakahoma and Mrs. Nakahoma.
Was her teepee different than his?
Go Cox.
No, I didn't know about Mrs. Nakahoma.
Yeah, there was actually Mrs. Nakahoma. Yeah, I'm that old.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to bring you out on that, but
that's okay. I don't mind. I made it this long.
But Chief Nakahoma's great.
Yeah, he was. He was fantastic.
Yeah,
fantastic.
I remember Chief Nakahoma. That was some really cool stuff. But Braves and Astros tied up at 1. Of course, the Astros are cheaters. We all know that.
Absolutely. Braves in 6. Braves going to win the World Series in 6.
I agree on that. But tonight might get interesting because here's the worst thing that could happen for the Braves, in my opinion.
Go ahead.
Since we're doing the doomsday scenario here.
Okay.
If the Braves have a game tonight, let's say that they go out there and they have to they have their starter and they go 3 innings, and then the rain comes in, which is supposed to.
Oh man,
that may throw off the pitching a little bit there. They're already without their
Morton,
ace, and that may throw them off a little bit.
Yeah, but they're resilient. They'll come back. I have faith in the Braves this year. I really do.
It's great to have faith, but you got to have pitching to win the World Series.
Yeah, but you got to be able to hit too.
And they can definitely do that.
They can rake when they want to.
I don't know if it's when they want to. We'll see. But I'm really looking forward to the Braves and their matchup tonight with Houston. Oh, we missed the Kentucky-Mississippi State game, by the way.
Oh, UK.
Kentucky is a 2-point dog on the road.
UK.
I'm gonna go with Mississippi State. I think Kentucky's a fraud.
Well, yeah, but they beat the crap out of Carolina. So
lots of people do that.
Yeah, but then again, who is Carolina this year?
Yeah, yeah, that's a mess. And then Vanderbilt and Mizzou. I bring that up because who's going to finish last in the East?
Well, Vandy's always been that child that never wins. So I'm going to give Vandy some love. I'm going to give him some love. I like Vandy in this one.
Well, Ole Miss, of course, has Connor Bazelak, so we'll see. We'll see how that works out.
Yeah.
But I kind of like Mizzou. with Tyler Beatty as their running
I
back.
hate everything about Missouri.
Why do you hate Missouri? Is it the whole Don Staley thing?
Still,
You're still mad about that? Yeah.
yes, I'm still salty about that one.
Yeah, a lot of people are.
Yeah.
Does it bother you? And I know you're a Gamecock alum. Does it bother you that the university is paying Don Staley more money than Shane Beamer?
Not in the least. Dawn has proven she could win. Shane still got to prove he can win.
But on the outside looking in, it looks like, and you know that I'm a Don Staley guy. So
Yeah,
let's make sure we put that out there. I
Mhm.
think Don
Yeah.
Staley's the best women's basketball coach in the country.
Yeah.
But on the surface, it looks like the University of South Carolina cares more about women's hoops than they do about football.
The University of South Carolina cares about whatever's going to win. And finally, we have something that's winning at this school. Let's keep it. Let's don't mess this up.
Well, I think Don Staley's worth the money. By the way, they're right at, she put out the thing yesterday. I think they're right at 10,000 season tickets sold for
Yeah.
women's basketball.
How many have the men sold?
I
None.
don't
Not
know,
that many. Not
10
that many.
10,000.
See, Dawn's getting paid because she puts butts in the seats. That's how you get
Well,
paid.
I-
You put butts in the seats, you win championships. That's what you got to do.
Can you, like, in all honesty,
Mhm.
I mean, growing up, I went to South Carolina women's games.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
And it's like you go in there and there's nobody there.
Yeah,
You could
when
literally
Pam
go
Parsons
from-
was here, there was a few people when Pam Parsons was here.
Yeah.
Then the next cadre of coaches we had, they couldn't draw flies. Then Dawn Staley comes in, puts a winner on the floor. Look what happens.
I know,
leads,
right?
leads the country in seating capacity.
I
Go.
just think it's hilarious that I say hilarious, but she's got 10,000 seats sold
Yeah, mhm.
for women's hoops.
I know. We're a women's
That's
basketball school. I'm not ashamed to say that. We're a women's
insane.
basketball school. I'll take that. I'll take a winner.
Well, Don Staley and her young ladies are going to get it out of here in a couple weeks.
Number one in the country
We'll be
already.
able to talk some hoops here shortly.
Yes.
That's going to be some fun stuff.
I
But
can't wait for that.
Braves tonight.
Yep.
What's
Braves
your
going
ha-
to win tonight.
What's your Halloween costume?
I'm going to go as a dead DJ because I'm going to be there at my house. But you should stop by. Bring the kids. For real. Yeah. I'm going to buy.
We may do that.
Yeah.
Gary Thrills Mills joining us here on the Rundown.
Thanks for having me, Rob. You have
Appreciate
a great
man.
show, brother. Thank
Go
you.
Braves, man.
That's right. Chop on, baby.
Chop
Chop
on.
on.
All right. Thanks for checking out the show this week. We'll be back with Reaction Monday. We'll see if the Georgia fans call if they win, the Florida fans call if they lose, or vice versa. We'll have that for you on Monday on the Rundown. This is Fox Sports Radio 1400. All right, you guys rock, man. We'll see you later. Okay, let's go. Hey, what's up? This is